everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Mike DeLisio.
Well over a decade ago at a small convention, TotalCon, in New England, I pulled out a game I had gotten to review from Z-Man Games called Magical Athlete. It looked horrible. When I set up the board, it looked terrible. And then we played it. Well, I read the rules and it said, you rolled a move. And I was like, well, it is what it is. We played it and it was fantastic. And I loved the game. I had a great time playing it. And then they immediately went out of stock because no one can imagine why, because it looked so terrible. And then I had a very small cult following for the next 10 years. I had a custom copy that I kept in Dice Tower Library, and we made all kinds of random powers and played it. And it was hard to find it. Like, at least 5 companies that I know of tried to get it reprinted. But because of rights and finding the designer, finally CMYK got it and reprinted Magical Athlete here.
And my long-winded story is this is the first time I've ever played it.
And I see that as my role now, sharing with you here, Chris, is that Tom has this long storied history with the game. My first experience with it is this CMYK version, and so I think it'll be interesting to hear the perspectives of players that are finding it for the first time here. And Tom, who has played it for so many years, now you've got Richard Garfield involved, adding in new powers. So, it'll be interesting to see what we all think.
All right, let's take a look at how it plays. Here we go. The concept of Magical Athlete is very simple. Each player is going to have a racer. You're going to race in 4 races. On your turn, you will roll the die. You'll see whatever number is there. You will then take your piece and move that many spaces. That is called roll and then move. And the first person to the finish line is going to get victory points. They start at 3 for first place, 1 for second. But in the 4th race, they're 5 and 3. So that's how you play the game. You're going to do that 4 different times. However, at the beginning of the game, each person is going to draft 4 different racers. You'll do that by putting twice the number of racers out on the table, and one person picks first, and we go through, and whoever picks last picks 2, and you go in reverse, a snake draft. And then you'll do it again so that everyone has 4 racers. At the beginning of each race, everyone will pick their racer face down and then reveal them. Each racer does different things. For example, the 3rd wheel, before my main move, which is rolling the die and moving, I can warp to any space with exactly 2 racers on it. Legs here just goes 5 instead of rolling the die. Well, that seems broken. Gunk, everyone else gets -1 to their main move. Lovable loser, before his main move, I get 1 point chip. We have extra point chips over here if he's in last place. The stickler, other racers can only cross the finish line by moving the exact amount they need. If they overshoot, they don't move. Baba Yaga trips any racer. Whenever a racer is moving and they trip, you lay them down to show that they skip their next turn. They'll just stand up. The party animal moves everyone 1 towards him. The lackey, whenever someone else moves 6, they move 2 before they move. The alchemist, if they roll 1 or 2, it's a 4 instead. The twin can pick a racer who won a previous race and use their power. The leap toad skips spaces with other people on them. So if he rolls a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty good leap toad. The cheerleader can make the racer in last place move 2. Then they move 1, and so on and so forth. There are so many different racers in this game. One of my favorite here is the huge baby. Whenever they land a space, they push everyone back. And in case you're confused, the huge baby is the size of the square. And in fact, there is an exact meeple for every racer. Now, in between races, you start a mild, you then go to wilds, and there's some more spaces. Spaces that when you land on, you get victory points. Move forward or backwards, or trip and just fall down. After 4 races, whoever has the most points is the winner. Okay, the artwork on here is clearly inspired by Schoolhouse Rock. The artwork itself,
I wish I could tell you the name, but it's actually not on the box cover. I can tell you in here because I want to give credit to this artist. I really think that she brought forth a lot of Angela Kirkwood. She puts a lot of flavor in this game, and I think the stupidity of the artwork, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way towards her, but everyone looks like a moron.
Well, it is very much that aesthetic of Schoolhouse Rock. Eric Sommer compared it to The Number People. There's a lot of those types of shows.
Yes.
This animation was very popular in the 70s. And I'm going to say this. It's going to sound like a negative. This art makes me uncomfortable. And I mean that in like the best way possible, right? Every time I grew up watching those, like Schoolhouse Rock or like the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, something about that
that's
animation,
exactly what it is.
something about the animation style makes me feel uncomfortable. I can't explain it, and they nailed it both graphically, but also kind of it fits with what this game is.
I adore the way they handled the art in this game. Sure, it definitely evokes those particular, things like Schoolhouse Rock, but it also evokes an era to me. To me, this not only evokes those shows that we're talking about, but it also evokes mass market board games of that era. This looks like, This Game is Bonkers and those types of games.
Yeah.
There were, you know what I'm saying? There were certain mass market board games from that era that had this look and feel. Even like the older versions of Sorry had a little bit of this with the exaggerated arrows on the board. And I love the fact that they're leaning into the fact that this is a roll and move game. I just think it's brilliant, the aesthetic of it all overall. Love it.
And they really put a lot of effort into this. This is a pretty small box here, but the fact that every character has their own distinct meeple. That's not just a shape. That's really cool. I mean, that's neat.
Yeah, the screen printing on them is great. They look wonderful. They're sometimes when you have a number of people around the table, you have to sit there and turn it. Am I this guy? No, I'm that other weird-looking guy. That's the only slight negative I think.
No
I
one
have
ever says about
production-wise.
Huge Baby, though. Everyone always knows who is Huge Baby.
Huge Baby's impressive.
I hate the Huge Baby.
I think it's one of my favorite characters. So Richard Garfield was involved with the picking and the selecting of the characters, and he's talked about that at some length. And I think that's a big deal. The original game did not have nearly as many characters. I think there's 40 in it now, or something to that effect. And they definitely teased the idea that there's more ideas that went through. But this makes the game. This is like Cosmic Encounter, other games where you're like, the game is fine, but it's the powers that make it. There's one here called The Mouth that literally kills people. This game has player elimination. It has roll and move. It has lose a turn. It has go back 3 spaces. These are all things that if you said put things that should not be in a board game, I would pick all of them. And yet here they work.
Kind of like Mike's saying that it really is representative of kind of an era, of a feel of game. But I think that the way that they all kind of come together in this one is thoughtful, not just cheap cash grabby.
Because what they did was acknowledge that those are things you should not do, but then they kind of mitigated why you shouldn't do them. Basically by, you're going to have multiple of these powers. Each race is going to be super short. You're not even with these go back, you're not going to have races that take a half hour, right? They found ways to kind of have those elements that on their own seem like they shouldn't work, but they do kind of work together because everyone is doing something silly and ridiculous. And it's like short bursts, right? This game plays in short bursts where you're flipping from one side of the board to the other. You're changing from one power to another. And you're not doing any one thing for particularly long. I think that really is what makes it work.
And everything seems like some stuff seems overpowered. So when I was showing the powers off, when you watch this video, you might think, hey, the guy who can move 5 instead of rolling a die, that's overpowered. I taught this to my family, and they said that exact same thing. And then that person came in last place because it's so nonsensical. And they have an example in the rule book that shows almost like an algebraic thing. Like this person passes this and this and this and then this and this. And you laugh at that. And that happens often. And every time that happens, everyone at the table just falls over laughing. I passed you, but then you tripped me. But still, when I was tripped, I still got to move forward a piece here. And now there was two in the same spot, which made Chris go forward. And then when Chris went over past that person, then he was tripped, and everyone's just dying.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, my power is I get to swap with the player in the lead. Whoop. All of your goodwill, I've now just taken from you. It's wild, and I think that the key point that Mike really mentions is that you play 4 races. Each race, like 4 laps or whatever, right? And each one has a different mix of powers and is fairly short and self-contained. And I think that's what makes this game work, is that those things that should be frustrations are things that you can kind of laugh at and say, cool, next bout, let's go. And then at the end, you have this score that's indicative of, you know, the fun that you had along the way. But it's nice that there still is a structure. There's kind of a score to it at the end.
Sure, I just never care if I win or not in this. I will say this, though. I have never played this game with less than 5. Other than maybe my very first game of it many, many years ago. Because I've always been like, this game is great with more. And I think it is good with more. You played with fewer?
I played with 3, and I was, I was happy. What we did was we just had 2 characters each. So, and you go in a circle, and you have, you know, one character go at a time. And I thought that was good. That way you still get 6 powers happening, because you don't want too few activations. You know what I mean? This game thrives on those funny moments of interaction. And so, yeah, I thought that worked well, but it's more of I think it's a better served raucous group game.
Mike, you've tried to solo variant? I'm kidding. Anyway.
No. I played the lowest player count I've played is 4.
Yeah, because I think, again, it's just that kind of game. It's a laugh out loud type game. And there's going to be some of you, maybe some of you watching, who you can just tell by what's talking about it, this is not a game for you. and that's fine. I get it. It's not for everybody. But it is definitely, it's a party game more than anything else. It's not a word party game. And it's actually, I think if you like the last game this company made, Hot Streak, I think it's almost a 1-to-1 correlation. You will also like this. They made 2 silly racing games in a row. I think if you like one, you'll like the other.
I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up, Tom, because I do think it's going to be a natural comparison point, especially for people who have played both. I think they kind of live in the same world, the same design space. They both lean into the silly. They both lean into it being more of an experience than it is even really necessarily a game in the traditional sense where, yes, you're going to have winners and losers, but the whole idea is that everyone at the table is a winner because you've all had so much fun. And so, yeah, I do think that those are natural to compare them to. I'm not even sure I would say which one is more structured than the other. They both kind of feel like party games.
All right, Chris, what would you give it?
So I've said a lot of good about it. At the end of the day, it is very, very simple, right? I'm giving this one a 7.5. It's a game that I enjoy. It's a game that I think that it's nice to have in the arsenal to pull out. And it especially would work well. I'm trying to figure, would this be better to be able to, as a game that you can introduce to anyone, including people who don't really play a lot of games? Because this is just a better version of what so many people think board games are, right? Or is this a better tool in your tool belt to surprise hobby gamers who are going to say, wow, I just had fun playing a roll and move game where I landed on a space that said lose a turn, and someone landed on a space that said move forward 3, but then they, because they moved forward, the mouthpiece ate the person in the lead, and now we all laughed and stuff about it. I think it pulls off both of those very well. And so, yeah, 7.5, I'm recommending it for sure.
Mike?
Yeah, this is a party game, 100%, and I'm kind of evaluating it under those terms. I don't even think of it as a racing game. I think of it as a party game, and I think that it does that very well. It is silly, it is fast, it's fun overall, it's fun. I think it does a very good job of evoking a particular time and space, and so I'm giving it an 8. I think that it is it's going to be a game that I think that if you've got the right crowd, it's going to always hit. So there you go, an 8.
Yeah, I went into this with a lot of antagonistic is too strong, but I was very skeptical because I have my own custom version of this. I don't need a company to come in and tell me what to do. But they nailed it. They really did nail it. I was like, they don't need another side of the board. And the other side of the board works great. I was like, what is this art? Well, it's not like the art in the Ritual was good, and it just works in every way. I like it. I've loved this game. I played it. Chris stole my thing. I was going to say it works great. I played with people who play no games.
Yeah.
But they'll play this. And then I also play with people who Brass is their favorite game. I'm like, try this. This is one of my favorite games. This is a 10. I absolutely love Magical Athlete. I always have those, so this is not, if you watch my top 100s, this is not a huge surprise. It will stay up in there. I just think it's a fantastic game. I've never seen it fail, like ever. I know that probably some people have left the table saying, I'll never play that again, probably under their breaths. But during the game, I've never had a game of this go bad. So, I'm glad. Now, get us those expansions. Okay. Or not. This is fine as is. That's Magical Athlete. I'm Tom Vassell, the Mouth.
I'm Chris Yee, Mr. Banana.
I'm Mike DeLisio, the Scoocher.
The huge baby. Oh.
No.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.